y'all, what's up? Welcome back to Roots Refuge Farm. I'm not going to chat in here very much because it's loud with the fans on and it is way too hot to turn them off. So I just got a fish tank put together in my greenhouse. And I actually need to go get the residents for it. I'm gonna let the water warm up a little bit and settle. I know there's some process whenever you're on like city water as far as filling fish tanks. We're on well water, so there's not the same process, but it is cold, so I'm just gonna let it warm up some before I put the fish in there. I've got them up at the front and I'm gonna have to walk them down the driveway because they're in a kind of full container, and I'll tell y'all more about that when I bring them up. I think this is gonna work out okay here. It's currently very warm in here, but we are going to put the shade cloth up real soon. I don't know, like the reason I haven't yet is because I was just not quite done with having plants in there, but I'm hoping to have everything planted out just in the next handful of days, and at that point we'll put the shade cloth up. I've got a few citrus trees that I'll probably keep in the greenhouse over the summer with the shade cloth on, and then you know, I'll keep them in there over winter. But I think the fish tank should be pretty okay in there for the time being. The only time that it may be an issue is I may have to move them somewhere once it actually gets very cold, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. It was 90 degrees today, so I'm not really thinking too much about it being cold again yet. Here's a little look of springtime in my dirty sink. Some pretty beets and some strawberries I'm gonna be processing today. All right, I'm carrying my little fish down the driveway. I don't want to drive with them because I don't want them to slosh around and spill on me. My friend Miss Nina brought these fish over. It's been a few days ago now, long enough for this water to get nice and filled with algae, which doesn't take very long during this time of year when it's so warm. But these are mosquito fish, and she brought them to me and she told me about them a while ago, and she keeps them in her garden to help keep the mosquitoes down. And I did some research on them. You don't want to put them in natural waterways because they're a very invasive species. And, you know, it's just one of the warnings I was reading. But they're really great for keeping in, like, troughs, or, you know, I could potentially even put them in the fountain, you know, if I was going to make sure that it did not run dry. Like, anywhere where there's going to be water for them. And they can eat, one fish can eat up to 250 mosquito larvae a day. So, definitely a cool thing. But I have about, I think, 8 or 9 of them in here that she brought me. And I'm going to start them in a fish tank in the greenhouse so that they can reproduce. And as they reproduce, she said that they have babies a lot. And if they reproduce, you know, enough, I can get my numbers up and then start putting them in the troughs and the fountains and stuff like that. I was actually looking for some sort of big container that I could keep them in. And then I just went to Walmart, and that fish tank was like less than $40, and it has a filter on it. So my hope is that by keeping them in that, I can just keep the water clean easier without having to refresh it quite as much. Plus it'll add a little nice extra flair to the greenhouse and the garden to have a little fish tank out here. So she gave me this little lily pad, and I'm just gonna put it in here. I may get some more stuff for them in here to have, you know, more area to hide in, especially if they're gonna have little baby fish so that the bigger ones don't eat the little ones. I'm trying to decide how much of this I want to dump in. I think I'm gonna pour some of this water off just into some of these trays. It'll feed the plants, and that way I don't have as much. I meant to buy a net, I forgot. They look like little, are they molly fish? Is that what they're called? My granddaddy used to have fish tanks, and he would have those. He called them guppies, but I think maybe they're technically called mollies. Maybe they're called guppies too. I don't know. I'm gonna put the lid on for now. No, I'm not. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna leave the lid off. Let's do that. Because if bugs get in here, that's just fine. It'll just help feed them. I think this is okay. I actually love fish. I love fish tanks. You know, like, I need another thing to take care of. I haven't had a fish tank in a while. I used to keep them. My grandfather always had fish tanks, and he had this massive Oscar fish that he had for like decades. And I just think they're so cool. And I grew up having them. And it's probably been about 15 years since I had one, but I think once we build our new house and I have space, I would like to get like a saltwater fish tank and keep that. I don't know. I'm not in any rush to do that. I think that they're extremely cool, but as I said, it's not like I need anything else to take care of. This will be fun though. This will be really fun. So a lot of this like debris that's down here in the moss, it's probably gonna gather up on the outside of the filter, and I'll clean it off. I'll probably come back out here later just to check on them and make sure they're fine. I did get some fish food. She was saying she doesn't have to feed hers during the hot months because they, you know, she keeps them out where obviously you want the mosquitoes to choose a container that has the fish in it to lay their eggs in. So she doesn't feed them during those months, but during the winter she feeds them. And since I'm keeping these in the greenhouse, I'm going to feed them. Kind of exciting. She said she thought a few of these were pregnant, and 3 of them have got really big swollen bellies, so that would be really cool. We used to have those little fish that would have the babies, and that's why you have to have things for the babies to be able to hide in. I need to get some more plants for in here for them. The thing with fish tanks is I can just stand and watch them for so long. I find them incredibly fascinating. I may be out here for a minute. So I just Googled this because I was curious about how to tell if they are indeed pregnant, because I noticed that like a few of these fish have really swollen bellies. So they do, the mosquito fish, that's what they're called if you want to actually look these up. It's called a gravid spot that they have, which is a black spot, and it becomes dark and visible whenever they are pregnant. It has a gestation period of 3 to 4 weeks, and it is a live bear. They have live babies, which that's like those fish my granddaddy used to keep, and I've had them too, and they have the tiniest little babies, but it said they can have up to 30 or 40 fry per spawning, and I can see the dark spot on 4 of these fish. You see? That's pretty cool, huh? We're gonna have lots of little tiny babies. That's what Miss Nina said. She was saying that they reproduce really fast. She said if you get somewhere where you can keep them and let them reproduce, you should have enough to put in all your troughs and everything pretty soon. So that is very exciting. I do need to turn the fans back on in there. I turned them off so that I could video. It gets hot fast. It's about time for that shade cloth for sure. All right, my other task while I'm out here is that I need to harvest some lavender. All this lavender that's blooming here next to the greenhouse. I've got some scissors in my back pocket. I just set my camera down on an ant pile, and then I apologize to you guys. How silly. I'm the one getting bit by ants. You're fine on the other side of the TV, but I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I set you guys down in an ant pile. This smells incredible. I wish you could smell it. I've been on a lavender kick, really just like for this season. I've been doing like lavender lemonade. We featured lavender flavoring at the coffee shop. So when we've been doing our farmers markets on Thursday, and then the coffee shop's also, the coffee shop's open every Thursday afternoon, but then it goes later on market days. And we've been doing like lavender lattes with a syrup we make. But my lavender started blooming, and I've got all these strawberries because we're harvesting those like crazy. Kind of starting to peter out now. But I've already made a good deal of strawberry jam, and I thought it would be good to make a strawberry lavender jam. So that's what this is for. I've got a bunch of strawberries cleaned in the sink that I'm gonna just wing it, get the flowers off and just put it in the jam. I think it should be fine. Hey guys, editing Jess here. You may notice a few videos recently have me here popping in at the end, finishing the video that I failed to complete while I was shooting it. That's because a lot of this footage came from when I was on my break from posting, where I would just grab clips and pieces of things. So technically this was filmed a little while ago, but thank you for hanging out with me today, that day, all the days you do. I never want to miss an opportunity to tell you I bless you. Until next time.